Here's how you can quickly set up your forecast. A couple quick notes before we get into that. You are always able to group by different suppliers, warehouses, etc. And what's nice is if you don't have any suppliers assigned, group by none, and it'll show all of your forecasts grouped that way. I'm going to have it grouped by supplier, as well as you can use your filter to look through different marketplaces. So the first thing to do is we're going to go down to, let's say, cable protectors, and we're going to click on the FBA days and expand it. At first, you're going to want to make sure that you set your order and transfer schedule. So how often are you going to be ordering your product? Every week, monthly, etc. And a nice thing to always keep in mind, the down triangle, you can always do global settings, apply, supplier, marketplace, etc. So select your order frequency, how often are you going to place orders, transfer schedule, how often are you going to transfer it. Now this is kind of an unusual case because it's ordering more often than transferring, which in most cases you're going to probably want to do something every week, 2 weeks, monthly. We're going to set it as every week. You can select what day. Another nice feature is you can go as needed to use a min and max range so that you can say your buffer stock is your minimum in days and the max amount that you want in order to save on inventory costs at FBA. You could potentially set that, let's say it's 45 days. So this is the range that it's going to tell me to transfer from my warehouse over here over to FBA. Now the next thing that you're going to want to look at is your express lead time. So the express lead time, let's say you have some way of sending something that is much faster via air. So either you can pick from existing ones, for example this one is air and it's 52 days, or let's say you want to build out a custom one. This allows you, and I'm going to remove that, it's just going to go directly from air to ground, and in 47 days it's going to get to FBA. Save and apply, and then that's going to allow us to split up orders from your default as well as air. Now this is not a great example because it's 50 days versus 47, but you get the idea. If you ever want to delete that, use the X to remove it. But the other thing that I highly suggest doing is saving, either applying this to all forecasts or all for the same supplier so that it goes to the proper set of product groups. Now the next component is your transfer time. How long is it going to take on average for your product to get from your warehouse to Amazon? So is it 10 days? Is it 5 days? And this is going to allow us to accurately predict when you should transfer things because we know how long it takes. From there, you're going to want to pick your velocity. So as you scroll down, select your velocity. And do you want to use last year's sales? Okay. Do you want to use a manual velocity, or do you want to use the velocity calculation where you can select the averages as well as you can even include weighted averages? At first that might be a little bit too advanced, but you can go through and select whichever ones you like. And depending on what type of product, whether it's something that's very current and recent, or if it's something that is seasonal and maybe you want to use last year's sales and then just add an additional seasonal bump, you can definitely do that. And you can see additional sales growth right here. Let's say you're using last year's and you want to add 10% growth for this year. You can quickly do that, save and apply it, and now you can use last year's sales plus 10% very quickly. At the next component, and probably the last thing to just get you going, is buffer stock. So you can see here FBA buffer. Do you want it in days or do you want it in units? So I'm looking for 7 days worth of FBA buffer. Same goes for if you're keeping warehouse stock. I want 10 days worth of buffer at my warehouse. Now once you've done these basic things, you're going to start to see how much should be transferred or default lead time, how much should be ordered. And what's great is you can click on this calculator to see the full calculation of how we got there. Hope this helps get you set up with your forecast very quickly.